Hey Reddit. Throwaway because some friends know my main. I, 34 male, never thought I'd be writing something like this. My wife, 31 male, let's call her Tina, has always been a bit attention-seeking. But I chalked it up to her being an extrovert. We've been married for 6 years, no kids, thank God, and things were never perfect, but I genuinely loved her. Still do, in a way I'm now ashamed of. About 6 months ago, Tina suddenly got it into her head that she wanted to be an influencer. I thought it was a phase. She started posting everything on TikTok and Instagram. Morning routines, gym selfies, those aesthetic matcha drinks she never actually drank. Then she landed a small interview with a local online magazine. It wasn't Vogue or anything, just one of those digital lifestyle blogs with a tiny following. She was over the moon, told me it was her breakthrough moment. I supported her, of course. I even helped pick out her outfit for the interview. I should have known something was off when she came home that night glowing, not just happy, like flushed, giggly, euphoric. She said the interviewer, a journalist named Kyle, I'll never forget his stupid name, was super professional and that they connected really well. That last part stuck in my brain like a splinter. But I didn't say anything. I didn't want to be that jealous husband. I just smiled and said I was proud of her. Turns out, that was the first mistake of many. So, after the interview, Tina started acting different. At first, it was subtle. She said the article would take a while to publish and that Kyle had follow-up questions. She claimed he wanted to make her look really good in the piece, that he saw potential in her brand. Okay, cool. That made sense, sort of. But then the late-night texting started. She'd be on her phone at midnight, giggling, screen tilted away from me. I asked her who she was talking to, and she'd just say, my manager, or, just a brand rep, babe. Once I caught a glance of the name on her screen, Kyle J. I played dumb. I didn't want to seem controlling, but that gut feeling, it kicked in hard. I started watching for patterns. She was suddenly dressing sexier when she went out to meet with collaborators, wearing perfume I hadn't smelled on her in years. She even bought new lingerie, but never wore it for me. One night, I asked if she wanted to go on a date. Just us. Something simple. Her response? Can we do another time? I have to plan a collab shoot. Okay, Tina. Whatever. It all came to a head when the article finally came out. It was published on a Tuesday. I read every word. It was flattering. A little too flattering. Like the kind of glowing profile you'd write if you were infatuated with someone. It wasn't just about her blogging journey. It was about her eyes, her energy, how authentic she was. It read like a damn love letter. And the worst part? I scrolled to the bottom and saw a photo of the two of them, her hand resting on it. After that article dropped, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Her gaslighting was thick. Every time I brought it up, she flipped it around. You're jealous of my success, or just admit you can't handle a confident woman. Yeah, Tina, confident or cheating? Then came the accidental discovery. One morning, she left her laptop open in the kitchen while she was in the shower. I wasn't snooping, at least not at first, but Gmail was up, and a bolded subject line caught my eye. Last night was unforgettable, Hartman-eating. It was from Kyle. Now, listen, I'm not proud of what I did next, but I clicked it, and what I saw made my blood go cold. The email started off like a Nicholas Sparks novel. I can still taste your skin. Your magic. I don't care if your husband finds out, it's worth it. There were photos. Not full-on explicit, but enough. Him shirtless, her in that collab shoot outfit, definitely not taken in a studio. Hotel room lighting, her smile, it wasn't fake. I took screenshots. I saved them to my phone, printed a couple just to be safe, then closed everything and pretended like I hadn't just died inside. She walked out of the bathroom in her robe and kissed me on the cheek like nothing happened. I wanted to scream, but instead I said, hey babe, want to do dinner tonight? Just the two of us. She smiled and said, aw, you're finally coming around. Sure. What she didn't know, that dinner was going to be her last meal with me as a clueless husband. So I booked a reservation at her favorite Italian spot. Classy, low lighting, the kind of place where they pour the wine like they know your secrets. Fitting, right? I wore a calm face. Inside, pure chaos, rage, heartbreak, nausea. But I needed her to talk. I needed to hear her say it, or lie again so I could finally stop questioning myself. She showed up looking like she was ready for the Met Gala. Red dress, glossy lips, like she was out to impress someone who wasn't her husband. During appetizers, I played dumb. So, how's the influencer life? That Kyle guy seems like a big fan. Her eyes twitched. He's just a journalist. Chill. You're acting paranoid again. I sipped my wine. Yeah? You guys seem close. She rolled her eyes so hard, I thought they'd fall into the risotto. God, you're being insecure again. Do you know how exhausting it is to deal with this every time I talk to any man? Ah, yes. The classic guilt reversal, like clockwork. I smiled and said, "So you're saying I imagined the email he sent you?" She froze. Her fork hovered mid-air. What email? Bingo. The one that said, "I can still taste your skin." Ring a bell? She stared at me like I'd pulled a gun out of my jacket. You snooped on me? I stumbled on it, but yeah, I read it. And I saw the pictures too. You and Kyle, the hotel. Real professional, huh? Silence. Then that switch flipped. The one where she goes from caught to... All right, buckle up. After that disaster of a dinner, I went straight to my car, sat in the dark, and just breathed. It was like I could finally see the full picture. Not just the affair, but the pattern. The gaslighting, the cold shoulder, the fake tears when I tried to connect. She didn't just cheat, she checked out a long time ago. I couldn't sleep that night. At 3 a.m., I found myself scrolling through Kyle the journalist's Instagram. Sure enough, he'd posted a story from a rooftop bar. Tagged in it, a blurry silhouette that looked a hell of a lot like my wife. I DM'd him from a burner account. She's married, you know. The guy replied with a laughing emoji and, I kid you not my problem. So, now I knew the kind of man she cheated with. Arrogant, shameless, and totally fine being the other guy. 2 days later, she waltzed into our house like nothing had happened. She even tossed me a coffee and said, "You've been moody lately, you should try yoga." I stared at her like she was an alien. I finally asked, "So, are we gonna talk about Kyle?" She blinked like it surprised her I was still on that. Ugh, again? I told you, it was just flirting. You're blowing everything out of proportion. Really? Then why did he send you pictures from bed? Why is he bragging about you to his friends? That cracked her mask for half a second. Just a flicker of panic, but she covered it quick. You don't know what you're talking about. He's a clout chaser. He's trying to use me for views. I didn't do anything with him. It was just business. I said, "You're calling sleeping with a journalist during an interview business now." She glared. Well, maybe if you paid more attention to me, I wouldn't need someone who actually listens. Ah, the final nail. She was done pretending. And in that moment, so was I. After that soul-sucking argument, something inside me just snapped. You know that weird calm that washes over you when you're completely done? That was me. No more yelling, no more trying to make sense of nonsense. I just started planning, quietly, methodically, like a man preparing to escape enemy territory. First thing I did? Called my lawyer. He'd helped me set up a prenup when we got married. My dad insisted on it. At the time, my wife called it insulting and unromantic, but thank God we followed through. Turns out cheating voids certain benefits in the agreement. And the clause about marital misconduct? Absolute gold. Next, I started separating my finances, quietly opened a personal account, rerouted my direct deposits, changed passwords on everything, Netflix, phone plan, cloud backups. I wasn't just planning a divorce, I was building a firewall. Now, here's where the universe decided to give me a gift. A week later, Kyle the journalist posted a live stream, yes, a full-on live stream, bragging about how influencers sleep their way to free PR and views. He didn't name her directly, but he mentioned enough details that anyone with half a brain could connect. I thought Kyle, the slick-haired journalist with a voice like a late-night radio host, was the full story. I was wrong. After I posted that screenshot, people started talking. Quietly. DMs trickled in. One message stood out. It was from a girl named Nina. We'd met once at a networking event my wife dragged me to months ago. She messaged me, "Hey, I don't want to get involved, but I think you should know. Your wife's been messaging another guy who works at the PR agency she was partnering with." I asked her to send proof. She did. screenshots of my wife flirting with some dude named Elias, who worked at that PR firm. Stuff like,
You're the only one who actually listens to me. I feel like I can breathe around you. If I had met you first.
you get the picture. She'd been emotionally, maybe physically, involved with this guy before Kyle, before the interview, before the influencer dreams even kicked off. And then it hit me like a gut punch. She wasn't suddenly a liar. She'd always been one. I just finally stopped giving her the benefit of the doubt. The thing is, she was good at it. She mixed enough truth in to confuse me, twisted timelines, blamed me for being distant while she was emotionally investing in other men behind my back. It was like every moment of vulnerability I had ever shared with her became a weapon she used to justify her betrayal. I remember sitting there, staring at my phone, realizing I never really knew who I married. I just wanted to know her. I loved the version of her I made in my head. But the real her? She was a liar who used sex, charm, and crocodile tears as tools. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a pattern, a lifestyle. After the Elias reveal, I didn't even confront her again. There was no point. I wasn't about to get sucked into another drama cycle of half-truths and manipulations. I made one call, to my lawyer. I had already moved out a few days earlier and had been staying with my brother. I changed my locks, froze our joint accounts, and filed the papers. Cold? Maybe. But when someone plays with your trust like that, the warmth dies fast. She blew up my phone when she got served. First it was crying, then anger, then blaming me again. How I neglected her, how she wasn't herself, how I didn't understand her dreams. I told her one thing: dreams don't require sleeping with other men. And I blocked her. It wasn't easy. I loved her, or at least who I thought she was. But once the fog cleared, I realized I had spent years emotionally tap dancing around someone who never had my back. She was all image, all brand, no soul. Now, for anyone reading this who's been betrayed like this, or thinks they might be, I want to leave you with what I learned. Trust